Hello, brothers and sisters. Today is September 19th, 2019. Back on January 3rd of 1991, the United States Congress designated March 26th as Education Day, and President Bush signed the Noahide laws into law. And I will attach this law below in the description box of this video. It is in fact the Lubavitch Jewish movement of which the New World Order is based. The Jewish Encyclopedia envisages a Noahide regime as a possible world order immediately preceding the universal reign of the Talmud. It has to be understood that we are not dealing with the Noah of the Bible when the religion of Judaism refers to Noahide law, but the Noahide law is understood and interpreted by the absolute system of falsification that constitutes the Talmud. Under the Talmud's counterfeit Noahide laws, the worship of Jesus is forbidden under penalty of death, since such worship of Christ is condemned by Judaism as idolatry. Meanwhile, various forms of incest are permitted under the Talmudic understanding of the Noahide code. The Talmud also states the penalty for disobedience. One additional element of greater severity is that violation of any one of the 7 laws subjects the Noahide to capital punishment by decapitation. With the end of free will, the opportunity to earn reward and enhance one's portion in the world to come will also cease forever, according to the Talmud. And in Revelations 24, we read, "And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus, and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. Maimonides' Mishnah Torah in chapter 10 of the English translation states concerning Jesus Christ, "It is a mitzvah, religious duty, however, to eradicate Jewish traitors, minim and epicorsim, and to cause them to descend to the pit of destruction, since they cause difficulty to the Jews and sway the people away from God, as did Jesus of Nazareth and his students, and Zadok, Bathos, and their students. May the name of the wicked rot." And who supports this? Not just George Bush, but honestly, brothers and sisters, it's pretty much most of the world at this point. And I'm going to attach this whole article below also in the description box of this video. So the 7 Noahide laws, there's 7 of them. And according to the Pharisees, known today in modern day as Lubavitch Jews, the Noahide laws are based from their version of the Talmud, which is a satanic version of the Torah. So the first one is idolatry, and it is forbidden. Man is commanded to believe in the one God alone and worship only him. So, against entertaining the thought that there exists a deity except the Lord, to worship Jesus as the Messiah is considered blasphemy according to the Talmud and punishable by decapitation. The second one is incestuous and adulterous relations are forbidden. Human beings are not sexual objects, nor is pleasure the ultimate goal of life. Number 3 is murder is forbidden. Number 4, cursing the name of God is forbidden. Number 5, theft is forbidden. Number 6, eating the flesh of a living animal is forbidden. And number 7, mankind is commanded to establish courts of justice and a just social order to enforce the first 6 laws and enact any other useful laws or customs. Sorry, bear with me a second. The Jewish law found in Deuteronomy 17:6 requires the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses before one can be executed. In fact, the last sentence of verse 6 specifically states, He shall not be put to death on the evidence of one witness. This should be our first clue that these 7 Noahide laws are nothing more than a clever counterfeit of God's 10 commandments. This paves the way for the Lord to be defined as to who they define as Lord. And those who don't agree or who refuse to worship their Lord will be beheaded. The penalty of violating any of these Noahide laws is spelled out on page 1192 of the Encyclopedia Judaica. Violation of any one of these 7 laws subjects the Noahide to capital punishment by decapitation. So in other words, if one person steps forward to accuse a Gentile of violating any one of these 7 laws, that testimony alone would be enough to decapitate the accused. A person could be put to death for the flimsy accusation of being cruel to animals and based on the lying testimony of one person. Notice there is no assumption of innocence until proven guilty, nor of the prosecution having to prove their case. No, on the accusation of one person, the accused may be legally decapitated. In the Armageddon script, says that the Christ will have to fulfill all the Old Testament prophecies concerning the appearance of Messiah, if he has any hope of deceiving Orthodox Jews. The main point to be grasped is that this false Messiah will claim to be Jewish, and an Orthodox Jew at that. He will uphold the ancient Judaic law and the Talmud. Keeping this information in your mind, please consider the following news. Christian newsletter Don Bell reports, December 27, 1991, reported that on March 20, 1991, President Bush signed into law a congressional joint resolution entitled A Joint Resolution to Designate March 26, 1991 as Education Day, USA. This joint resolution became Public Law 102-14. The title seems so innocuous that no one would think twice about it if they happened to just see it. However, this law is very sinister in its implications. It is typical of the New World Order planners to devise innocent-sounding words, phrases, and titles to mask their true intentions. Public Law 102-14 states emphatically that all civilization from the beginning has been based upon a set of laws entitled the 7 Noahide Laws. I bet you did not know this, did you? You probably believed that the Holy Bible was the basis upon which civilization was based. What are the 7 Noahide laws, and from whence did they come? These 7 supposed universal laws, according to the Encyclopedia Americana, page 737, state that they are a Jewish Talmudic designation for 7 biblical laws given to Adam and to Noah before the revelation to Moses on Mount Sinai, and consequently binding upon all mankind. Don Bell correctly reports that these laws originated from the mystic and satanic Babylonian Talmud, which no Christian has ever accepted as inspired sacred scripture. In fact, the Talmud is that collection of man-made interpretations of the Pentateuch, Genesis through Deuteronomy, against which Jesus railed so intensely. The Talmud was taught as being equal with God's inspired word, even though the practical effect of its teachings were so often the exact opposite of what God had intended. However, the Encyclopedia Americana continues its explanation of the Noahide laws. Throughout the ages, scholars have viewed the Noahide laws as a link between Judaism and Christianity, as universal norms of ethical conduct, as a basic concept of international law, or as a guarantee of fundamental human rights for all. This explanation leads one to believe that both Jews and Gentiles are bound by these 7 laws. However, Don Bell reports from Jewish sources that the Jew who lives according to the Torah is exempt from these 7 laws. In other words, these 7 Noahide laws were meant for the Gentiles only. They are meant to be a substitute for the 10 Commandments. At this point, we need to briefly list these 7 Noahide laws. So, I've already read that earlier. Okay, sorry. Now that I have your attention, let us examine further Public Law 102-14, which set the Noahide laws as the basis for international law, read United Nations, to which all American law must conform. This public law singles out one Jewish group for special honor, saying that they embody the principles of these Noahide laws. This group is the ultra-Orthodox Lubavitch movement, known for its strict adherence to the smallest detail of the Talmud. This group believes their head rabbi, Menachem Schneerson, is the prophesied Messiah and are anxiously awaiting for him to publicly proclaim his office. He's actually passed away now, but there's still people that believe that he will resurrect from the dead and that he's the Messiah. There are still people that believe that in Israel. This is such a small splinter religious group that very few Americans have ever heard of it. Yet the Congress and the President of the United States have declared in this law that the rabbi is universally respected and revered, and that his Lubavitch movement has fostered and promoted these 7 Noahide laws. Don Bell again sheds much light upon this Lubavitch movement when he quotes Rabbi Louis Finkelstein, the head of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America in 1943, writing in the Universal Jewish Encyclopedia. Pharisaism became Talmudism. The spirit of the ancient Pharisee survives unaltered. When the Jew studies the Talmud, he is actually repeating arguments used in the Palestinian academies. In other words, the Talmudic Lubavitchers are reborn Pharisees. Our listeners should immediately be alerted by this revelation, because on July 17, 1993, we studied the beliefs of the Pharisees and discovered that they were occultic. Many Pharisees belonged to the Jewish occult group, the Cabal, satanic through and through. We studied that the Jewish Cabal forms a most important foundational building block upon which the entire New World Order movement is based. Finally, we showed how these Pharisees could hate Jesus Christ so vehemently, even in the face of his tremendous miracles. We understood how Jesus possessed such hatred of these teachings and the hypocrisy of the Pharisees. Once we understand that the Pharisee of Jesus' day was involved in a satanic secret society, we can understand how they could hate him so much. Then on July 24th, we studied how these Pharisees originated the unpardonable sin. They viewed the many supernatural miracles of Jesus and believed that he was able to accomplish these miracles because he was an adept in the Egyptian mysteries. He could therefore access the power of the occult. Jesus warned them not to ascribe his power to Satan, but they continued to do so, thus committing the unpardonable sin. To this day, secret societies continue to teach their members that Jesus could do his many miracles because he was an adept in the occult. These 7 laws are a counterfeit of the 10 Commandments and are promoted by the Neo-Pharisee occult group, the Lubavitchers. Don Bell further states that the Lubavitchers are a mystic group, thus signifying that they teach the Cabal as well as the Talmud. This revelation ties them directly into the secret societies of today, which are powering the drive into the New World Order, i.e., the Illuminati, the Freemasons, and the Bilderberg Group, just to name a few. Thus, it would seem natural that these secret societies would look favorably upon a mystic Jewish group, which has its active roots in the ancient Cabal, a group which is a soulmate to today's secret societies. Is Satan setting the stage where Christians could be legally charged with violation of Noahide Law number 2 of blaspheming God? Certainly, our doctrine that Jesus Christ is God in the flesh would constitute blasphemy against God, just as it did against Jesus. But our punishment would be decapitation, a much more humane way to die than crucifixion. So, Trump to endorse Chabad movement, an event attended by Jewish leaders. Education and Sharing Day commemorates the birthday of Rabbi Schneerson, who led Chabad throughout the second half of the 20th century. U.S. President Donald Trump will sign a proclamation Tuesday endorsing Education and Sharing Day, an annual event affiliated with the Chabad movement. And this was from 2018. Kushner Foundation gives $342,000 to Chabad. Still surprised about Jared and Ivanka's synagogue? It might seem odd for a modern Orthodox Jewish family to join a Chabad synagogue, but Ivanka Trump and her husband Jared Kushner are already quite invested in the ultra-Orthodox outreach movement, or to be more precise, their parents are. A Haaretz examination has revealed that Charles and Cyril Kushner have been major benefactors of Chabad over the years. Between 2003 and 2013, their family foundation donated a total of $342,500 to various institutions and projects associated with the movement, their tax records show. Chabad has benefited not only from Kushner's side of the family. It turns out that President-elect Donald Trump has also contributed to the movement, even before his daughter, who converted to Judaism, was married. Altogether, the Donald J. Trump Foundation has donated $11,550 to 3 Chabad institutions. According to a recent report in the foreword on Channel 10 News, Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner are considering joining a Chabad synagogue when they move from New York to Washington, D.C. Their newly purchased $5.5 million home in the Kalorama neighborhood is said to be less than a 10-minute walk from the local Chabad congregation, known as the Shul. Rabbi Levi Shem Tov, who founded the synagogue and serves as its spiritual leader, would not confirm or deny the reports. Kushner and Trump both identify as Orthodox, and the other 2 Orthodox synagogues in town are further away. This can pose a problem for Jews who don't drive on Shabbat. The family is moving in order to be closer to the White House, where the couple is expected to fill important, if not official, advisory roles in the next administration. 3 days before the presidential election, the two made a pilgrimage to the grave of the Chabad Rebbe Menachem Mendel Schneerson, where they reportedly made a special prayer for Ivanka's father, Trump. The gravesite, which is known as the Ohel, is considered holy by followers of Chabad, also known as the Lubavitcher movement, and is visited by thousands annually. And I'm going to attach this below also. And this is a video of Rabbi Schneerson and Benjamin Netanyahu.
מה שלא יאות, וגם מצו שעדיין משיח ליבו, אז הייתה מה שהוא ומה ידיעתו. הכנראה שהיא מספיק, כאילו שהיום כבר כמה שעות בגיל עדיין ליבו, אבל יש עוד כמה שעות, אבל יש להשתדל גם היום, בצורה טובה. זה שמחה וטוב ליבו. כדי שחסידים מתפילים שכל מנהיגים את שמחה. בצורה טובה, הצלחה רבה.
So, and I'm also going to attach below what the Talmud says about Jesus and Christians below this video. So now I'm going to read to you some things that Rabbi Schneerson, the man in the video, the Lubavitch movement, has said. Quote, "The difference between a Jewish and a non-Jewish person stems from the common expression, 'Let us differentiate.' Thus, we do not have a case of profound change in which a person is merely on a superior level. Rather, we have a case of 'let us differentiate' between totally different species." Quote, "This is what needs to be said about the body. The body of a Jewish person is of a totally different quality from the body of members of all nations of the world. The difference in the inner quality between Jews and non-Jews is so great that the bodies should be considered as completely different species." Quote, "An even greater difference exists in regard to the soul. Two contrary types of souls exist. A non-Jewish soul comes from 3 satanic spheres, while the Jewish soul stems from holiness." Quote, "As has been explained, an embryo is called a human being because it has both body and soul. Thus, the difference between a Jewish and a non-Jewish embryo can be understood." Quote, "The general difference between Jews and non-Jews. A Jew was not created as a means for some other purpose. He himself is the purpose, since the substance of all divine emanations was created only to serve the Jews." Quote, "The important things are the Jews, because they do not exist for any other aim. They themselves are the divine aim." Quote, "The entire creation of a non-Jew exists only for the sake of the Jews." So, yeah, most people don't know about this aspect of Schneerson's teaching because such teachings are intentionally minimized, mistranslated, or hidden entirely. For example, the quotes I just read were translated by the authors from a book of Schneerson's, Recorded Messages to Followers, that was published in Israel in 1965. And despite Schneerson's global importance and the fact that his world headquarters is in the U.S., there has never been an English translation of this volume. Such extremism is opposed by many Israelis, and many Jewish religious authorities condemn it, and many of them believe the truth that according to the Torah, every man is created in God's image. Yet, such extremist views continue to exert a powerful influence, as we can clearly see with the upcoming event on September 25th in Israel, where the Sanhedrin will be hosting the first conference with the 70 nations and addressing the inability of the UN to maintain peace among the nations. They will also be sacrificing an animal on the Mount of Olives and renewing the Noah covenant. And they'll be discussing the establishment of an international court based on their Noahide law principles. And much of this gathering will be dedicated to the 7 Noahide laws. So, I just wanted to share this all with you all, and I'm just going to read some scriptures. Revelation 3:9. "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee." Revelation 2:9. "I know thy works, and tribulations, and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan." John 8:38 through 47. "I speak that which I have seen with my Father, and yet do that which ye have seen with your father." Sorry, let me start over. "I speak that which I have seen with my Father, and ye do that which you have seen with your father. They answered and said unto him, Abraham is our father. Jesus saith unto them, If ye were Abraham's children, ye would do the works of Abraham. But now ye seek to kill me, a man that hath told you the truth, which I have heard of God. This did not Abraham. Ye do the deeds of your father. Then said they to him, We be not born of fornication. We have one Father, even God. Jesus said unto them, If God were your Father, ye would love me. For I proceeded forth and came from God. Neither came I of myself, but he sent me. Why do ye not understand my speech? Even because ye cannot hear my word? Ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And because I tell you the truth, ye believe me not. Which of you convinceth me of sin? And if I say the truth, why do you not believe me? He that is of God heareth God's words. Ye therefore hear them not, because ye are not of God. John 10, 1-30. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. And a stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. This parable spake Jesus unto them, but they understood not what things they were which he spake unto them. Then said Jesus unto them again, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. But by me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. The thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. But he that is an hireling, and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth, because he is an hireling, and careth not for the sheep. I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and am known of mine. As the Father knoweth me, even so know I the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold. Them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold, and one shepherd. Therefore doth my Father love me, because I lay down my life, that I might take it again. No man taketh it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it again. This commandment have I received of my Father. There was a division, therefore, among the Jews for these sayings. And many of them said, He hath a devil, and is mad. Why hear ye him? Others said, These are not the words of him that hath a devil. Can a devil open the eyes of the blind? And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of the dedication, and it was winter. And Jesus walked in the temple in Solomon's porch. Then came the Jews round about him, and said unto him, How long dost thou make us to doubt? If thou be the Christ, tell us plainly. Jesus answered them, I told you, and ye believe not. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. But ye believe not, because ye are not of my sheep. And I said unto you, My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. My Father, which gave them to me, is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. I and my Father are one. I love you, brothers and sisters. Hold fast. Jesus is coming to rescue us just in time.